A North Texas man says he thought he was going to die when he looked down to see his wounds after he'd been stabbed and carjacked. The attack happened in the parking lot of a Fort Worth restaurant over the weekend. The victim says he was actually trying to help the suspect out when that person attacked him. Fox 4's David Centendry spoke with the victim and joins us live. David.
Yeah, Steve, that 28.
This is today, North Texas, same area.
8-year-old victim says he was trying to buy food for that person who was asking him for money, but instead that person reportedly turned on him with a knife and started swiping nearly a dozen times.
Really, he doesn't make the best decisions.
While waiting on a to-go order at Waffle House off West Rendon Crowley Road in South.
Clearly, he doesn't make the best decisions, so we know it's a white guy. That's the victim.
Fort Worth, overnight Saturday, Jackson Altmans says someone knocked on his car window asking for money.
And he told me he was just trying to get some food.
Altmans decided to order the man food.
Sir, you clearly don't make the best decisions. You should have got the fuck up out of there, man. And listen,
hang on. That might be one of my boys. Let him cook. All
right, man. Listen, I think you when you're a white guy. Me, I would have just been like this. I would have just put my hand up and like, nah, and he would have walked away. But a white guy, it's a different, like homeless and vagrant and transient blacks are different. We see it on the train all the time towards black people, towards, Sun men, than they are towards white. You agree with that though, right?
Well, yeah, man, but that's not your typical white guy, right? All right, I can game recognize game, right? I see the tattoos, tight shirt, hat. That nigga got a gun, bro. Let's see how it plays.
But did the Sun man consider that?
Rendon Crowley Road in South Fort Worth, overnight Saturday, Jackson Altmans says someone knocked on his car window asking for money.
And he told me he was just trying to get some food.
Altmans decided to order the man food.
I opened my car. I was going to go get him some food. And literally the second I opened my door to step out, he just starts stabbing me.
Fort Worth Police Department says Quindarius Cartwright.
He was right about ugly, man. That's an ugly motherfucker right there, man. That's one ugly one. Quindarius. That's an ugly motherfucker, man. I'd love to see the side by side of that, man. Make sure y'all support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, or Super Chat. Hit the like button. That's one ugly motherfucker, boy. Woo-wee.
He cross-eyed like Debo, too.
I opened my door to step out. He just starts stabbing me.
Fort Worth Police Department says Quindarius Cartwright is the man who cut Altmans in the face and chest. Photos of the bloody gash are too graphic to broadcast.
Genuinely thought I was going to die. It was so much blood. Walked in Waffle House. They were freaking out. I mean, I'm sure probably a traumatic thing for anyone to watch.
Video of Altman's recovery shows his swollen face and stitches.
Most of the stab wounds to the body weren't really too bad. It was just when he stabbed me in the face that was it was really bad.
On top of injuries, Cartwright reportedly stole.
Look how good the white guys taking it. Y'all are something. No, y'all take this stuff really well.
It's embarrassing, man.
Yeah, man. Y'all are good sports about getting fucked up. And listen, for blacks, man, we're thankful, man, because we don't want a race war.
Most of the stab wounds to the body weren't really too bad. It was just when he stabbed me in the face that was it was really bad.
On top of injuries, Cartwright reportedly stole Altman's car and joyrode it to a strip club in North Fort Worth. Cartwright was arrested nearby.
He definitely hit
He took his car to the strip.
something pretty good, and it's messed up the wheel.
Altmans recently purchased his 2024 Toyota Camry. The 28-year-old worked several jobs, including DoorDash, a job he was doing the night he was stabbed by someone he was trying to help.
I can't tell you how many times I've been asked for.
Yeah, this should be a big story too, man. This right here, the fact that this is just there's a tsunami of these stories that just, it's just every day on the news. We just do this every day. But this is a huge story. This white guy, productive, like Nick Fuentes said, very productive, working multiple jobs. Very nice. You can see he's a nice guy, dynamite guy.
Well, I'll say this right now, man. I was wrong. Shit. Not about that life. But goddamn, if the roles were reversed, bro. If the roles were reversed and this guy right here had turned the tables on this poor homeless man just asking for a meal, goddamn.
Let's be honest, man. Let's be honest. If Roland Martin, was it 2 weeks ago? He was wearing a Texas A&M gear, and a white guy asked him, did he Did he play for, or was he a fan? And he got on the internet and made a big deal about that. That was national news. Remember?
Yeah, it was crazy, man. We heard about that shit for like 3 months, bro.
Yo, it's like, yo, this white guy would not have to do all of this same shit that the black guy did for it to be a national racial incident.
For money or whatever by homeless people or just, people out in the streets. And, typically good nature is just to like want to do a good deed for them. But I learned that night, man, you got to be very careful about, who you're willing to help out, because sometimes they will take advantage of that good nature.
Cartwright is charged with aggravated robbery. Bond is set at $150,000, being held over at the Tarrant County Jail. Steve, back to you.
All right.
Aggravated robbery, not attempted murder. Wow.
Well,
Yo, Ak, I think the problem is the gliders, they can't.
And welcome to the Factor Uncensored. Thank you.
I said they can't fathom the idea of savagery like that. It doesn't even cross their mind.
They can, bro, but society tells them that society
they've lost their ways. They've lost their ways.
Society messes with their computer programming, right? We all have instincts. Okay, we all have instincts that we understand and we should listen to, but society tells them that
override that shit.
It overrides it. Yeah.
Yep. Because they weren't like this in the 60s or the 70s when they were doing serial killer shit, and now they're just.
No, I think they were though. Listen, this is, you got to understand. Like, for instance, like when we hear about the Wild West and the saloons and the shootouts, that stuff was very, very overblown. Billy the Kid only killed 4 people. This is a lot of and a lot of this is due to civilization, right? White people create societies, right? They create civilizations because that comes from their collective mind. So they respect the mores and the values and the customs of the civilizations. Black people, where we see black people, we have a different type of civilization, but if you could call it a civilization, but we have, it's not the same thing, right? So when we are thrust as we are into a white society, we're out of place. We're out of place. Like, think about a black dude on the train with his ear pods in, rapping at the top of his lungs on a crowded train full of people that just got off of work or during rush hour. And he does not give a flying fuck about any of those people's experiences. He's vibing the Kodak and he's rapping and he's just minding his business. He's in his own space. And you know what I'm saying? Or the black person that's, talking on their cell phone, loud as shit about all their personal business and shit on the bus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but there's a gap, though. There's a gap, man. There's a big gap, from the 50s to now. There's a gap, right? There's a gap when a black person wouldn't even look at a white person in the eye.
That's not true, though.
And now
we debunked that.
I don't believe that.
We debunked that. Niggas was out of control back in the days, man. It was just when it got to a boiling point, white people would come grab your ass out the jail and hang you from the closest street. They would come to the jail, get your ass, hold the sheriff and the deputy at gunpoint, and hang you at the closest street. But the majority of the time, during segregated places, if the black people stayed in their space, they was fine. If there was in black people, I don't think black people were scared of white people at all. I think it was just segregation. Like, you can't come in this building. You know what I'm saying? This building, you can't come in this restaurant and shit like that.